Can we just refuse to sign the contract? Is it risky?
Today we're going to talk about the corporation. And I'll say right at the beginning, the corporation is really the place where you get employed. How do I succeed? It could be an office, it could be a place where work is. What goes on inside the corporation? What is the contract? If they do get a job description, put it in the drawer and just want to earn the money. So it's important to start thinking about a working career. This kind of work orientation, if you are lucky and you get a corporation where they have an induction program, they will give you something like this. But this will serve to give you at least a head start. Context in which production takes place with the aid of management, machines, materials, and methods. It's where organized business activity takes place. And many people just go in for their jobs, an entrepreneur. Now, that's a critical person in your career. You can learn from them. By observing how the business functions, you begin to understand what the entrepreneur was thinking. The market, what's the productivity, where are the people, how much is the price of the product? My friend, open your eyes. See it for what it is. It's a whole university of operations. And people in various job roles. Be very specific about what you are going to do in the organization. Now, this is the reason why an employer will ask you, so how can you help us? So when you say, I can do anything you tell me, I said, man, the corporation is so big. Where are you going to fit in? Each person comes in to add some value. Employment is an industry. Open your eyes. An employer is only going to pay you a fifth of what you are producing. It's nice to know, because then your job is an exchange. You're doing what? You're exchanging it for cash. Exactly the same as a business. You provide services to the company, and therefore you should get a return. If you come away from an employment or a job with nothing, you have made a loss. The employer is very keen about making a profit in his business. But if you want to make a loss, he doesn't stop you. But that's up to you. Think business. So if you agree to do certain things about the job, then you are contractually and legally obligated to supply those before you get paid. There's no point in saying, I'm being paid a little money. You signed up. Your employer takes this agreement as seriously as you should. Find out, what does it contain and what am I supposed to do if I'm going to earn more money? What should I do if I need to keep this job? Agreement, it's a choice, it's no coercion, and you always have an option. Collaborate, partner with the employer. Part of the culture of the organization. See the vision as the entrepreneur. Understand its culture. That's a mind shift that's important. Here you are, you're getting capital. You're broke at the end of the month. Save money to buy a shamba or a house or something. In a job, you're either creating wealth or you're making losses. If you're saving, you accumulate capital. That will be the profit from employment. So you'll say you have 6 months work, but really you have been underperforming. Learn from the entrepreneur, because you should also become an employer. Yes, the work was hard, but you should have known that when you were at the big, because that was the contract. It becomes difficult to get another job as you move along in your career. Last century, there were jobs permanent and pensionable. Jobs these days are contractual. So there's a lot of skilled labor out there. Why is this important? Your career within the corporate environment could actually involve periods of self-employment, which means you have to strategize to think that. If you don't remain employable and develop your skills in your career, you will probably find that process will take over the work that you used to do. The nature of work is changing, and you have to get to be upskilled, be progressive in terms of and the skill sets that are needed within the market. If you've had enough savings and built your own capital then you had a plan from the beginning that in 10 years I'm going to save this and I'm going to start my own business, then it will work for you. Make sure you have gotten all the value and all the capital and all the entrepreneurial knowledge to be able to start yours. Try not to get dismissed or disciplinary cases. These are always difficult to resolve. There are not many things that are in a job description, but there are enough for you to master them on one hand to actually be impressive and effective in the workplace. A job description gives you your workspace. One important reason why you need to understand a job description. Job advertisements are drawn up from job descriptions. Roles, you will see the responsibilities, you'll see the skill sets, and when you are responding, respond to that advert based on the job that you see you're going to do and the value you're going to contribute. When is it right to quit? When you have learned the enterprise, when you have learned the trade, when you have understood the industry, when you understand the commerce and how to do business, and you have gathered all the skills that can enable you to do what you are doing on the job. It saddens me many times to find that people who have been working in a specific and very productive industry often leave and know very little about it. One of the people who has learned from the entrepreneur has set up their own. Jacob conspired to steal his brother's birthright. God said, no, 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 no. Even if you are the chosen one, my friend, you can't steal it and then justify it that I was promised. Let me send you to your uncle and help you to learn how to work. For 14 years, he worked. In that time, he complained. God was teaching him a lesson. Unless you learn to work, you cannot inherit or even keep the promise or the wealth that you have. 14 years, 2 wives later, Jacob leaves. I came alone. I am now living with 2 companies. Can you tell your employer I came with nothing, but I am going to start 2 companies? You have taught me well. Thank you very much. Okay, so learn to work from your employer. They may be God's agencies for your development. It can be a series of jobs in different employments. It could be a mixed bag of things, a series of jobs, but it's taking parts of your life. Don't just jump jobs because of money, but see how they are connected and how they are created and what you can eventually become. Make sure you have a core career. If you're a teacher, you'll probably find that you are going to use teaching throughout your career. The other option you have is to say, I'm going to start at the bottom as a cashier. I'm going to be a teller, and then I'm going to move to a supervisor, and then I'm going to use to a super manager, and I'm going to work up the corporate ladder with. Remember, you're spending your life just as the person who is moving. So I'm not saying moving is good and staying is bad. The profession now becomes your career. Exposure to the corporate environment is limited. You need to have goals for it. Review your job description. Find out what you should be doing and start doing it. And this is what I want to leave with you. How employable are you in the next 5 years?